Hi, this is Wendy Boulevard. I'm coming back with another aspect of abuse. And I want to talk about verbal and emotional abuse. An isolated occurrence does not qualify as emotional abuse, but a pattern of behavior that creates fear and control does. Such mistreatment can occur in a range of interpersonal contexts, including a parental relationship, a romantic relationship, or a professional relationship. What is emotional abuse? Emotional abuse is a type of verbal abuse, so they're one and the same. It is when somebody uses their words to insult, demean, ridicule, manipulate, and/or degrade another person and negatively impact that person's psychological health. Verbal abuse, emotional abuse, is a means to control and manipulate and maintain power over another person. Most people assume that if they were being verbally abused, they would know about it. After all, verbal abuse often occurs and involves yelling, putting someone down, name calling, and belittling behavior. But there is more to verbal and emotional abuse than a person realizes. Some people are verbally abused on a regular basis without even recognizing that it's happening. Verbal abuse can occur in any type of relationship. So it could be a romantic one, a parent-child relationship, family relationships, and co-worker relationships. Emotional abuse sometimes precedes physical abuse. However, this is not always the case. Verbal abuse can exist without physical abuse. The effects of emotional abuse can be just as damaging as those of physical abuse. A person who is suffering from physical abuse can experience short-term difficulties such as confusion, fear, difficulty concentrating, and low confidence, as well as nightmares, aches, and a racing heart. Long-term repercussions may include anxiety, insomnia, and social withdrawal. Emotional abuse is about one person maintaining the power or control over another person. It usually takes place in family settings, parent to a child intimacy. It can also take place in situations such as schools and workplace. For example, in the case of bullying. There are many different types of emotional abuse, including they call you names. Anytime someone engages in name calling, it is a form of emotional abuse, even if the names are said in a neutral voice. This is not acceptable treatment to the other person. They use words to shame you. Examples, they criticize you. Are mocking words that are meant to put you down. These may be comments about the way you dress or talk, or your intelligence. Basically, shaming is any comment that makes you feel inferior or ashamed of who you are. They make jokes at your expense. Typically, verbal abusive people will make you the butt of their jokes. This can be done in private or in person, but if you don't find it funny, then it is not harmful fun. They humiliate you in public. When you are insulted in public by peers, a friend, a family member, or a dating partner, this can be particularly painful. They yell, scream, or swear at you. Anytime somebody yells or curses at you, this is a display of power, and the goal is to control and intimidate you into submission. As a result, it is abusive and should not be tolerated or excused. They make threats. No threat should ever be made or taken lightly. No, let me back that up. No threat should ever be taken lightly. When people make threats, they are trying to control and manipulate you. Remember, there is no better way to control someone than to make them fearful in some ways. Blaming. Making the victim believe they are responsible for the abusive behavior and that they bring the abusive behavior upon themselves. Gaslighting, judging, withholding, a refusal to give affection or attention, including talking to you, looking at you, or even being in the same room as you. There is more to this list. And it's very insulting to an intelligent person to be called a liar, be told they're stupid, they're trash, they're ugly, they'll never amount to anything. And what you have to do is you have to take back your control. And here are some tips that you can do in a abusive, an emotional, and a verbal abusive relationship. Set boundaries. Firmly tell the verbal abusive person that they may no longer criticize, judge, or shame you, name calling, threaten you, and so on. Then tell them what will happen if they continue their abusive relationship. I've done this. I've had to do this. And what I've done is I've warned, and when they wouldn't stop, there's something called block on your phone. You block them. And that's what I've had to do. Limit exposure. That's another thing I've done. If possible, take time away from the verbally abusive person and spend time with people who love and support you. Limiting exposure with the person can give you space to evaluate your relationship with them. Excuse me, that word didn't come out right. So it'll take time for you to sit there and actually think about the relationship. Is the relationship worth really having? Is it a parent of yours? Is it your sister? Is it your brother? Well, if they're trashing you, do you really need to have a verbal abuser in your life? The answer is no. Again, put them on block. Ending the relationship. If there is no signs that the verbal abuser will end, or that the person has any intentions of working on their behavior, you will likely need to take steps to end the relationship. And that's what I've done. I've had to end many relationships, even with family members, because right now they're very, very abusive. And stuff, it can cause anxiety, changes in mood, chronic stress. It can decrease your own self-esteem, depression, feeling of guilt, of shame, of hopelessness, post-traumatic stress disorder, social withdrawal and isolation. It can cause substance abuse. These are all the things that people who are being abused will turn to in order to get rid of those negative thoughts that somebody else has put into their mind. And what they need to do is actually end that relationship, because even if it's an intimate one, it's no longer valid. And it's time to move on and have a better life. Until we talk again, I hope you all have a great day. If you are in a domestic violence relationship, my suggestion to you would be to end that relationship. If you don't know where to go, there's places like Sojourn and other places. There's places in Orange County where you can get the help. That's for local people. People around the country and around the world, my suggestion is go to the internet and start looking it up, and pack up your clothes, pack up your kids' clothes, and leave, because the relationship is vital, and it could lead to physical domestic abuse. But God bless you, and you have a great day. Bye-bye.